Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this new channel named the Engineer's Gateway or the TEG. Some of you might already be alarmed by the word gateway and started to think whether this channel is for gate preparation tips or what. In that case, I must tell you that you are both right as well as wrong. Yes, I do intend to start gate mentorship and tutoring program for 2023 mechanical engineers, but the classes won't be executed on this channel. Updates regarding admission process and all the other details will be shared on this very channel on 3rd of March. So if you are up for it, please stay connected with the channel. Now talking about the purpose of this channel, I always wanted to start a channel to impart multi-dimensional qualities to the modern day engineers. We as a nation have achieved a lot in the field of science and technology in the past century or so, but the modern day engineers, from my own observations and experiences, I feel that they are becoming stressed and delusioned because of the heavy gap between the demand and supply, specifically in the core branches. So, what is happening? Students are thinking that if I run after one particular exam, if I run after one particular organization, if I run after this thing, if I run after that thing, they start to feel that I have to run after this, and if I achieve it, all the problems of my life will be solved. But when they are not able to achieve it, they feel that their life is devastated, that is the dead end. Even if they are able to achieve it, after achieving it, they find a gap in the expectation and reality, and they are not able to digest it, or they are not mentally prepared for it. Because in the market, to stand out as a good engineer, you need to be adaptive both technically and mentally. And if you are not ready for that, you will find it difficult to survive as a core engineer. So, today, to mark the beginning of this journey, we shall start by discussing कि ये engineer होता क्या है? What is an engineer? What is the mentality that you need to be called a good defined engineer? But before that, I must introduce you to myself. Hello, my name is Bhaskar. I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering and my hobby is to work on small scale design projects. अगर ये साथ लंबा चला तो you will definitely get to have a sneak peek at some of my creations. Also, I was placed in a multinational organization and I worked there for few years just to realize that my worth is much more than what I was getting and doing over there. Okay, so today I stand before you starting this channel, parallelly trying to pave my path to become a gate mentor, and I hope I have chosen the right way. Okay, to begin today's session, I would like to take you back to my childhood days when I used to be very much fascinated by three words, still confused between all the three, and those three words were inventor, scientist, and engineer. And as a child, I used to believe that inventor is better than a scientist, is better than an engineer. I had regards for all the three, but I used to believe like this. And you might ask why. And the answer to it is that I used to read about inventors mostly in the books. I used to feel elated. I used to study about the scientists from news or articles, and I got to know about some famous scientists of the country like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Homi J. Bhabha, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Venkatarama Ramakrishnan. All these people have achieved a lot for the country, and we all must be proud of them. And I used to feel very happy when I used to read about them. And I have always had high regards for engineers and doctors of the country. So, because of this, I started to have a bent towards science as a subject. Okay, so since childhood, I wanted to become an inventor so that I can also deliver some decent products or create something for the history. Okay, and eventually, I found myself in a situation where I was graduating with a medal around the neck and still unaware of the difference between the three. So, today, let us begin by decoding all the three, starting from the inventors. When we listen to the word inventor, what are the names that pop up in our head? Probably Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, etc. And what was so common between the three? They all tried to produce things which are going to solve problems or make the lives easier for us humans. And they used to have novelty in the creations, isn't it? But does being an inventor require any form of qualification? Come to think of it, who were the first inventors? Weren't it the primitive people who created the wheel, who created the ways to make weapons out of flintstones? Were they having any qualification? Were they having any degree? Forget about degree, they were not even having books to read from. But they invented things, they were able to produce new things. Why? Because they had something common, and that was the ability to solve common problems using application of science. And you do not require any qualification for that. Okay, even in today's world, if we look around, we will find so many examples of people doing innovative things using only the application of science. It's not necessary that they are very educated or anything. For example, a person producing shoes out of thermocol to walk on the water during floods. A girl producing cycle cum washing machine in order to exercise as well as wash the clothes when her mother was ill. For example, a person who couldn't afford cattle or tractor to plow the field, he produced cycle with a plow. Okay, in all the three examples, something was common, and that was they wanted to solve a problem and they had necessity. So, necessity was the mother of all these inventions, with application of science being the father. Also, they used jugaad to make whatever product they were making. But now, come to think of it, can you imagine a scientist working with jugaad? So, who is a scientist? कम बोलने वाला सोफिस्टिकेटेड इंसान जो कि बोर्ड पे चौक से लंबे लंबे कैलकुलेशंस करता है. Is it so? No. To put it simply, a scientist is somebody who asks three fundamental questions: what, why, and how. What is happening around in the nature? Why is it happening? And how to control it? Isn't it? And they try to find answers to these questions. Okay, let us take an example. For example, you are just trying to study projectile motion. So you begin with, you take a stone, you throw it at an angle, and you try to see what is happening. You see it traces something like this. You shot it at an angle with velocity u at angle theta, and you saw what was happening. Then you tried to analyze why is it happening, why is it making this shape. You realized there is gravity acting in downward direction. Then how to control it? You use the fundamental equations of linear motion to get the solution of this particular problem. Okay. So the entire research of a scientist revolves around the three fundamental questions: what, why, and how, and they try to answer these questions. And you, my dear friend, as engineers, are going to use the answers to design, develop, and maintain all the technological advancements which we people have managed to achieve in so many years. Okay, so for an engineer also, it is important while studying to ask these questions: what, why, and how. Why? Because if you have studied the projectile motion in a fashion that you know height is equal to u square sine square theta by 2g, range is equal to u square sine 2 theta by g, and if you have remembered t is equal to 2u sine theta upon g, in that case, my friend, when you will find yourself in a situation where you are battling it out with your enemy on a hilly slope, your enemy is somewhere here, he has created a wall for safety like this, you are in a tank somewhere like this, moving with velocity v, and you can shoot a ballistic with velocity small u, given the dimensions capital L, small l, and capital H, and this height is small h, and you are required to find the angle at which you need to shoot the ballistic so that you can hit the enemy. If you have studied it like this, will you be able to solve something like this? Answer is no. And also, if you are sitting in an examination where you are simply asked a problem like this, they have given you velocity u, they have given you angle, and you are just supposed to find the range, and if you are trying to solve the components, then also you are wrong, my dear friend. Because sometimes in education you need to learn and remember standard formulas because they are standard, but you need to have the ability to be able to differentiate between this situation and this situation, and you can only do it when you are asking the questions what, why, how. So this was the message which I wanted to give you guys. And also, when I started by saying that I used to believe inventor is better than scientist is better than an engineer, if you ask me today, I will say out of the trio, engineers are the king, and you do not need to feel disheartened. Why? Because an inventor might or might not be a scientist or engineer. A scientist might not have the background of engineering, he or she might be from other science backgrounds. But an engineer always has the probability of becoming a scientist or an inventor, provided how they are answering the questions what, why, and how. Isn't it correct? And I hope I have found answers to my questions correctly by starting this channel. You can always provide your feedback in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want more updates and more videos like this, please consider to subscribe. And if you are interested for Gate Mechanical 2023 mentorship program, please stay connected with the channel. Save it in the calendar. 3rd of March, video will drop on this very channel. And thanks for watching till the end. Kindly keep visiting. Thank you.